time for a quick geography lesson. South Australia is one of the world's greatest wine regions. Whilst they seem to make wine basically everywhere, there are 3 places that you particularly need to know about. Firstly, there's the Barossa Valley. About 60 kilometres northeast of Adelaide, the Barossa Valley is home to some of the oldest grapevines in Australia and some of Australia's best known wine labels, covering everything from the mass-produced Jacobs Creek to the much more exclusive Penfolds Grange. The region is especially famous for making amazing Shiraz, in particular a sparkling Shiraz, which you won't find anywhere else in the world. Initial thoughts of Barossa?
Love it. Absolutely. And the sun just came out and it went away again. It's stunning, it's quirky, it's unique. Just to the south of the Barossa and directly east of Adelaide are the Adelaide Hills. Sitting at more than 300 metres above sea level and with a cooler climate as a result, the Adelaide Hills have been producing wine since the 1840s. The Adelaide Hills were originally settled by Prussian immigrants, and the whole area retains a distinctly Germanic feel and influence. Wine, glorious wine. Finally, about an hour south of the Adelaide Hills is the McLaren Vale. Like the Barossa, the McLaren Vale is famous for its Shiraz, but it generally produces most varieties of dry red wine. Being on the coast, the McLaren has a different climate to the Barossa and the Adelaide Hills, with more rain and slightly cooler temperatures.
We spent 5 nights in wine country, exploring the towns, views and of course, as many wineries as we could pack into our stay. For what it's worth from us, we thought the wines were best in Barossa and the finest views were in McLaren. The Adelaide Hills were a little touristy in places for our taste, but we did enjoy our time there and nonetheless it does turn out some wonderful wine.
So, without further ado, here's a quick rundown of our top 10 highlights from wine country. Sorry in advance for our overuse of the words stunning and beautiful. Wine country is both of these things and so much more.
At number 10 is the Franz Winery in the Barossa Valley. Franz offers a small but really cosy cellar door set against a fantastic view across the hills. Wine tastings can be as cheap as $5 for 5 wines, and though we didn't always love them, there were plenty of good options on the menu. A massive shout out to my old university housemate James, who came and joined us for a few drinks.
Perhaps the most visually impressive of the cellar doors that we explored, Hugh Hamilton has a large cellar door nestled right in the heart of its vast vineyards. The wine was good, their own brand olives were delicious, and we got to chat with the head winemaker to learn about our wine from the man who crafted it. They also let me send up my drone for an amazing view of the surrounding countryside. Guten Tag from Hahndorf.
Hahndorf is the main tourist town in the Adelaide Hills. With its Prussian history, the town has a strong German heritage which manifests itself in German pubs, cafes and bakeries. It is a little on the touristy side, but if you look past that, there are some really lovely old buildings and plenty of good food to be found. Whilst we were there, we picked up a traditional German blueberry crumble cake for our host, Greg. We later learned that Greg is in fact diabetic, which just meant more cake for us.
You can't drive around the McLaren Vale without failing to notice the D'Arenberg Cube. Not just a winery, D'Arenberg is a quirky art gallery, restaurant and cellar door all in one. Ever seen a sculpture made entirely of knives, forks and spoons? It's so clever. The wine wasn't the best that we drank, but the views from the bar at the top of the building more than made up for it. This is by far the wackiest winery I've ever been in. Check out that view.
Tanunda is the main town in the heart of the Barossa Valley and inevitably acts as a magnet for the passing tourists. That being said, it is full of charming little boutiques, an excellent visitors information centre and the Tanunda Cellars, one of the best wine shops that we have ever seen.
Welcome to the stunningly beautiful Nepenthe Vineyard here in the Adelaide Hills. With some great wine and stunning views at a very reasonable price, Nepenthe is a great place to stop in the Adelaide Hills. They're currently expanding the cellar door, and we can't imagine many better places to sit and enjoy a drink in the hills during the hot South Australian summers.
A short drive from Nepenthe is Cobbs Hill, which in addition to being a winery has a farm. We enjoyed all the wines that we tasted for the very reasonable price of $10 each, and were hosted by a brilliant sommelier called David, whose enthusiasm for all things wine was infectious. Keep an eye out for the fearsome guard dog, the 4-month-old Gracie, who you'll find running around outside. Oh, look, the colouring's so gorgeous! Hi! Oof!
At the end of a terribly not stressful day of drinking wine, how about this?
How many wines have you drunk today? Not that many.
16? 17?
Not that many.
It's quite a lot. Towards the north of the McLaren Vale is Okaparenga National Park, where we camped out for the night. Full of walking trails, stunning vistas, kangaroos and wonderful plants, we loved our brief but brilliant time here. It's easy driving distance from Adelaide if you need a break from city life.
One of the smallest producers we visited is Tomfoolery Wines in the Barossa Valley. It cost $10 to taste 9 wines, all of which were excellent. The hostess, Deb, was hugely knowledgeable and spent an hour taking us through this wonderful experience. Tomfoolery is the only vineyard that we visited where we bought 2 bottles of wine, both of which were extremely reasonably priced and absolutely delicious.
Without question, first place on our list goes to the Gorge Winery in the McLaren Vale. The building itself is wonderfully rustic, covered in wisteria, grapevines and other plants, and set against the astonishing backdrop of the neighbouring wineries and the Okaparenga Gorge. This right here is how every winery should look. It should have a view like this, a frontage with seats and vines like this, and barrels to sit and drink from, and lovely people who just bring you wine. What a stunning, gorgeous, brilliant place. Wine tastings cost nothing, are totally stress-free, and every one of the 6 wines we tasted was delicious. We bought a great bottle of Shiraz, and as you're about to see, our host was particularly generous with the end of the day approaching. We've just left the Samuel's Gorge estate with a wonderful bottle of Shiraz for the very reasonable price of $45. And as I was leaving, the bloke turns to me and says, "Well, what are you drinking tonight?" I said, I don't know. Why? He said, "Well, I'll just give you a bottle of what's open." So he allowed me to just take, free of charge, a bottle of the Graciano, which, as you can see, is still like 2/3 full. So I guess we're going to be having a little more tonight. What a lovely guy, what a lovely place.
After 5 nights in wine country, we were both well and truly pickled. So it was time to pack up our van and head back to a city.
So make sure to join us next time
when we explore the fabulous city of Adelaide.
Thank you so much for watching. And please, if you're enjoying these videos, remember to like them and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.